Hey, welcome back, everybody. Sarcasm speaks. Jared and Bob. Bob's back. It's not just me. Um, so we'll have a regular old show for you today. Won't be an abbreviated show because I don't like talking to myself. I got someone else to talk to today. um, so I let
Shall,
I
sh- shall I start with my absence
yeah,
of
because
last episode?
I briefly explained it, but I figured you would fill us
Oh
in when
yeah,
you got back.
like I was gonna say it's funny because when this type of shit happens, I actually don't tell you anything because I know I'm gonna probably explain it. So that's why it's funny because I'm like, yeah, I've been dealing with this, but I figured like, yeah, you don't know shit.
Yes.
So we're going to briefly rewind with the notable absence because this is really just like 2 weeks of build up, I guess, or whatever. So we had our wedding at third week of June, which it's fucking July now. I don't know if fuck that
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, I know.
Um, Wedding was good, weather was good, food was good. People are still talking about the food, the venue, the band, like everything was good.
Yeah,
I
everything
don't
was great.
I don't actually have any stories from the wedding that would be even remotely interesting outside of everything was good.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it was great.
Like that was the thing. Like no one got too fucked up. No one got fucking
Right.
sent home. No one fell off a balcony. No one drowned. Like
Yeah. I don't know. I said it's you at least, and this is selfishly about me, but I was like, at least for me, it was really cool because it was almost like a reunion, right? Because I know I told you, but like I hadn't seen Jamie since he moved out. I haven't seen Craig and Brandon probably since the last time I was at the gym. I hadn't seen Anthony since the gym. You know what I mean? So it's just like it was cool to like see people that I hadn't seen in a really long time.
right. Um, and again, like no real issues, nothing.
Yeah.
So wedding was a Friday. We stayed on site until Sunday. On Sunday, we moved over to Ocean Edge. Which that was cool too because we've never been to Ocean Edge in season. We've only been there in like off or shoulder. So everything
Right.
was open, everything was available. We went to the beach for like 3 hours until my fucking ADD didn't allow me to
I
fucking
was
sit
gonna say, is
still.
that the longest you've ever been at a beach?
Not ever, but it's the longest. Like I was like, I'm sitting there like it's too early to eat lunch, but I can't fucking sit here anymore. Um, so we come back on a Tuesday, and I work that Tuesday afternoon. Work Wednesday, Thursday. Chris was out Friday, Saturday. Like back to reality.
Right.
Well, except for the fact that we had to go to fucking another wedding on Saturday.
Yeah.
So luckily it was we stayed in Salem, wedding was in Derry. Um, so yes, different state, but like, dude, it took us like an hour with whatever
Yeah.
traffic there was.
Yeah.
So I was in a hotel on Tuesday morning and I'm in another hotel on Saturday. So, don't really sleep, drink too much. Bartender overserved me, obviously. We come back, we go straight to Hingham because now we're picking up the dogs because we're watching Samuel this couple days. So we go to Hingham again, no traffic, no nothing, like no real issues. Only took like an hour, which is funny because it takes us like fucking 35 minutes to get there from Milton. But um, so right through, we get the dogs, we come back to my house, no power. Okay, great. Now it looks like there's power around, but we look at the other townhouses because there's four townhouses, a main building, couple separate structures. Well, nobody's home in the townhouses. So they could be out of power. They could have power.
Right.
No fucking clue.
Right.
It looks like the main building. It looks like the separate structures have power. So we're like, okay, this is fucking weird. Also, we didn't really get much weather, so it didn't really make sense as to why we didn't have power.
Yeah.
So put through a power outage to Eversource, and it's like, oh, there's no outages in your area. Power will be restored in like 3.5 hours. Awesome.
Sick.
So that brings us to like 3:30. Go get food, hanging around, whatever. And then somewhere in there, fairly early on, Michaela looked and she saw like our neighbor's Wi-Fi was up. So it's like, oh fuck, it's gonna be just our unit.
Yeah.
Like, which doesn't make any sense. How does one unit not have power? I don't know. So, and I know it's some people probably think, oh, did you shut the breakers off? Yes, shut the breakers off.
Yep.
Didn't do anything. I unplugged a couple things, shut the breaker off on. Did not. We got nothing here. So our three and a
Yeah.
half
Unplug it,
hours,
plug it back in. Didn't work.
yeah, blow on it.
Yeah.
So our 3.5 hours of Eversource has passed. It's like, okay, put in another thing. It's like, oh, there's no outages in your area. Still out of power. Fine. Someone calls and goes, hey, yeah, I mean, you don't have power. It's like, yep. It's like, well, do your neighbors have power? And we're like, we're pretty sure they do, but I mean, truth be told, no one's really home, so I can't definitely confirm that.
Right.
I go, it's like it seems like they have it. It just seems like us. It's like, oh well, there's no outage in your area. We'll have to send somebody out. Awesome.
Cool. We couldn't have done this 3.5 hours ago.
Right. So it's now like 6:45, which is that's like that was like the next benchmark.
Yeah.
Nobody came, didn't hear from anyone. Fire another thing from Eversource through, like maybe someone will call back. Well, that doesn't happen. So it gets late enough where we're like, okay, we got the two dogs, we got no AC, we have no shower,
Yeah.
can't charge a phone. Let's just go to her parents. So we're back to Hingham. So we stay the night there, and like, I mean, I just don't sleep good. I don't sleep good at home, and I definitely sleep worse when I'm not. So wake up feeling like shit. Michaela was up because Sammy decided he needed to puke. Leo was whining at one point. When I tried throwing him in his crate, he was running all over the house. Like it's just a fucking circus situation over here. So this is Monday. Yeah, this is yesterday. So I run back here before I go to work and nothing. It's like, okay. Um, Now she had reached out to people in the HOA, the property manager. I don't know, dude. Like this place is just not well run or organized. So it's like just reach out to whoever will fucking answer you.
Yeah.
So, she blows up the property manager at like 9:30. She's like, oh, I'm just getting in. It's like that's not my fucking problem. I don't
Yeah. It
have
doesn't
power.
matter. And
My
I
my
haven't had
problem is I
power
don't
for
have
24
power.
hours.
So Eversource isn't doing shit. He goes, oh well, it might be something at the meter. I'll call an electrician. So this is like 9:30. Still not hearing much through the day. I think she fucking rattles his cage again at like 1
Yeah.
or maybe earlier saying like, oh, waiting on a call. And then she rattled his cage again at like 1 saying like, oh, my husband's heading home. He goes, oh, he's like, yeah, the electrician will be there between 2:15, 2:30. It's like, okay, that was sketchy timing, but
Yeah.
so I get home and this is when the fucking skies open up. So now it's fucking downpouring.
Yep.
I'm like, great. Here we go. If this guy needs to like go into our unit, go around the back of our unit, whatever.
Right.
I'm like, I also can't get in the main house. So if we need to get in the main house because we don't live in the main house, I go, I can't get in. So
Right.
I'm like, I don't know what the fuck we're gonna do here. If this dude's like, oh yeah, can you let me in? No.
Yeah. Can't. Don't live there.
It's like, oh well, how do you normally get in? I don't. And don't forget, I didn't call you either. The property manager did, and he's the one who's not here. So
Right.
luckily, our man shows up. Do you like go in this door? I go, dude, I don't even know what that door is. He goes, oh, this is the door to the basement. I go, awesome. I go, I'm in one of the townhouses. I go, I'm not in the main building. He goes, oh, okay. He goes, do you have a key? I go, sure don't. He's like, all right, well, I'll just pop the lockbox. I go, you have the code for that? He goes, yep. I go, awesome. I go, this is actually getting better. Not only did the guy show up when he said he was, he can fucking get in. All right, problem. That's one problem solved. So we go down and, we're messing around looking for the electrical room, whatever. We find it. And there's a wall of meters in there because I don't know how many units we have, 20, maybe. I don't know. Maybe like the separate buildings have separate meters somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's like anywhere from probably like 14 to 20 just on this wall. And he pops like one of the covers off and he goes, oh yeah, that breaker's junk. So what we're dealing with is anyone that's been in any type of home that's looked at the circuit panel has seen the individual breakers. So each
Right.
switch is technically a breaker.
Right.
Because most people say, oh, did you check the breaker? It's like, well, it's not. It's a whole panel of breakers.
Yeah.
So I don't know if residences or correctly metered buildings have this, but there are panels of giant breakers. And not giant, giant's a tough word because it's not like in the movies where it was like that big
Yeah.
fucking handle and like you
Yeah.
knock it
Yeah.
down. Like it's
Yeah.
not that, but it's like a full hand. Like if a switch is just one, these are like a full hand
Yeah.
down. So he's looking at it, he goes, oh yeah, this is tripped. He goes, I think that thing's toast. Great. So tries to get it. It's not going. It's not gonna go. Like it's not gonna untrip.
Right.
So he's like, all right, let me try this. Does something. He goes, this is the don't try this at home special. He goes, why don't you go? He goes, go check and see if you have power. So I run back over, no power. I'm like, nothing, dude. He goes, all right. He goes, while I was down here, you need a new breaker. He goes, that's like first and foremost. He goes, but apparently it takes like over a week to get in. I go, that is
That's
just
good.
simply not gonna fucking work. I go, do you really expect me not to have power for a fucking week?
Yeah.
But like, how am I gonna yell at this guy?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing, right? Like it's
Because
not
he's
his
just,
fault.
well, that's the thing. He's like, listen, I don't fucking order it.
Yeah.
Like that would be my thing. I'm like, can I go to an electrical supply company? Can I fucking
Yeah.
pay $100 to have it fucking overnighted?
Yeah.
Like I
Can I
have
just procure
nothing.
it for you?
Yeah, like what the fuck do I need to do to get one of these fucking things as soon as possible?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, he's like kind of looking around. He calls a guy that usually like works, same company, but usually works over here because he found an old breaker. So one of the breakers had been replaced. I don't know what unit. So he found the old one. So he calls the guy. He's like, hey, did we replace this because it failed or did we replace this because it was going to? And the guy basically told him, like, yeah, it's good. Like, that's
Yeah. It's just
fine.
old. Yeah.
So he throws the old breaker in replacement of this new one. So, he goes, all right, head back and slowly turn everything back on. It's like, okay. So I hit the main power back on and I'm doing each switch one by one by one by one by one by one. And I'm hearing some shit and I'm like, all right, we got to be good at this point. So like lights turn on, AC starts going, fridge is going, whatever. So luckily, our man found a way. Now he goes, listen, this is short. He goes, this is short term. He goes, you got to replace that thing. It'll take over a week, and then we got to get someone available to do it, whatever. He goes, it'll probably take as long as it took me today. I'm like, bro, it did not take you that long today.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that was a fairly straightforward
Right.
thing. He's like, well, you got plenty of power coming into this thing. I go, well, that's wonderful,
Yeah. Hey,
but
awesome,
plenty
man.
of power coming in. If the thing sucks, doesn't really do me a whole lot.
Right. Right.
So we've got power for now,
For
which
now.
I don't know if for now is weeks, months, a year.
Days.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know yeah, I have no clue. But we've got power. they're gonna like replace the thing, I guess. And
Yeah, so they say, right? They're just not going to do it. And you're going to lose power again in like 3 weeks.
oh, so this is the thing where when when people don't want to do their jobs, but them not doing the jobs directly affects me, I'm going to fucking blow these people up.
Yeah.
Like, I'll email the property manager and say, "Hey, have you heard from the electric company yet?" "Oh, no, I haven't heard yet." "Cool.
Hey, did
Can
you
you
get
give them a
that
call?"
part? Did you get that part in
Which,
yet?
like, yeah, can you give them a call? And then I'll call the electric company and be like, "Hey, I'm out of rank here, but I don't give a fuck because this guy's an idiot." I go, did that breaker come in yet?" "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. We're looking at next week. No problem."
Yeah.
I go, "How about this? Why don't you fucking call me when it's ready and then bill the other fucking guy? Because he's fucking useless." But it's not within my walls, so I don't think it's like billed to us.
Right. Right.
Which will probably be a whole nother thing, in which case, you know what? I'll just fucking pay you for it. I don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah, just get it done and whatever it
And then
is what it
that's the thing, is like
is.
I'll just file something with the HOA for being retarded.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, the best part of it is you had power on Saturday morning before you left, right?
yes.
And you went food shopping, right?
Yep.
So you had a full fridge
Yep.
that became trash pretty
Yep.
quick.
Threw it all out because I think I accidentally opened the fridge at one point and like the stuff was still cold. But dude, we went over 24 hours without power. Like
Yeah.
that's not really okay for a fridge.
Yeah.
That's like borderline for a freezer.
Yeah.
Because once we did get power back, which was probably closer to 3:30, which means we definitely didn't have it for 27 and a half, if not more. And like I could make an argument that the stuff was frozen, but you could also start to make an argument that this shit might make you sick.
Yeah, it was semi-thawed.
Yeah, like that was the thing, is like what really did it for me is I had half a rack of ribs in there and I'm like, these are frozen. And then I grab it and I could actually bend them and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah,
And
they're
like
not as
like the
frozen.
ice was breaking, so it's like
Yeah.
it was close, but
Well,
nope.
so
I threw that shit out too.
not to go down like a nerd rabbit hole, but like we move or we facilitate the moving of freezers for like labs and pharmaceutical clients. So
Mhm.
I just know from talking to people that work there, I think a minus 80-degree freezer. So that's minus 80 centigrade, by the way. That's not Fahrenheit. That's not freedom units.
How much is that in
Um,
Kelvin?
yeah. So a minus 80-degree freezer, I think after 4 hours gets down to like minus 55. And that's a freezer, right? So you're looking at like 25 degrees Celsius, which I don't know. What is that?
I don't know. Do you triple that?
30,
No.
35 degrees Fahrenheit
Oh, I think it's more than
ish,
that, but
roughly. But like,
well,
so if
0
you,
degrees Celsius is 32.
right.
30 degrees Celsius, I feel like is like 90.
Yeah. Yeah. So who knows, right? So whatever it is that you lose 25 degrees in Celsius in 4 hours in one of those freezers that's rated to like be closed and transport cold things and do that shit. Your 35-degree Fahrenheit or 2 degree, your 2 degrees Celsius fridge, um, you ain't gonna cut it after 24
No, the fridge.
hours.
So that's the thing. The fridge definitely not.
Yeah.
The fridge only gets, I don't know, like I would like to say you maybe get like 6 or 8, but it also depends too,
It depends on how full it is too.
because I was gonna say if it's more empty, it's going to heat up faster because the other cold stuff will hold in cold longer.
Yeah. And it also has to do with airflow.
Okay, that makes sense too. So yeah, so it can't be empty, but it can't be stuffed either, right?
Right. Right. Neither
Yeah.
one of those is good. Like all the
No.
way empty is bad, all the way full is bad.
Yeah, that makes
Somewhere in
sense.
the middle is best.
Which we probably were somewhere in the middle because like, oh, fridge full of food. It's like, yeah, there's only two of us and there's not that
Yeah.
much in there.
We're not
But it's like,
gluttons.
but that's the thing. It's like it's all the food that I cook for the week. So yeah, I threw out like an entire like I threw out 3 pounds of ground turkey, a pound of ground beef, like a pound and change of pork chops, a pound, 4 pounds of chicken, and I think like 2 pounds of like pork or something.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is like we didn't have power long enough. And then I know what someone was like, well, why didn't you just like throw it in a cooler? Dude, I just told you
Yeah, it's
there's
too
too
much.
much. Like I can't throw all that in a cooler. Never mind.
And still
I was
have
gonna
room
throw
for ice.
I was gonna throw it all in a cooler, bring it to her parents' house, be at her parents' house,
Yeah.
not knowing if I had power. So I have to leave all the stuff there. So then I was gonna have to go after work back, pick up
Yeah.
all the food, load the cooler back up, and come back, still knowing that it might have gone bad.
Yeah.
Like I could have done all that and like still potentially not had it been okay.
Yeah. See,
So
what you
now it's
need to
like
do is get a backup fridge for the gym.
I need a
So when it
gen
happens again, you just bring everything to the gym.
get a gas generator to put in the house.
Yeah.
Uh pretty sure that's what you want to do. Um Forget where I was gonna go with that. I don't know. Oh, and then the kicker of it all is now with it being like 4th of July this week, I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, my schedule's all fucked up now for the rest of the week. So it's like I'm not gonna go like because it's only money, right? Like
Yeah.
you can't take it
Right.
with you. Just it's just money.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's a waste of food, sure, but like ultimately it's not a waste of food because it was trash.
Right.
Um, and now it's fuck that dumpster not pretty right now.
All the
Um,
raccoons are having a fucking feast.
um, we're all gonna be dead. That shit's all bad.
I think
Um,
like wild animals have different stomachs than we do. I think they can
yeah,
handle.
they have different stomachs, but if something's rotting,
Oh yeah,
they need to be like what's a vulture considered? It's a
a bird.
well, I know it's a bird, but
Yeah, I don't
like
know.
they'll eat rotting carcasses.
Yeah, yeah.
So like whatever
Scavenger,
what
is that what they're
yeah,
called?
maybe it's a scavenger. I don't know. Whatever type of animal will do that, which I mean raccoons, they'll eat anything. They don't
They're
care.
trash pandas.
Yeah. Nature's crackheads. But yeah, not tough scene down there. But that was the thing is like I'm like, oh, well, inconvenient, sure, but I'll just go buy everything again. And I'm like, well, Monday's already lost. I go, I'm not actually like going in on Wednesday because I'm working Friday, but Thursday's the 4th. Wednesday's a weird day for me. Thursday, I mean, even Friday's a weird day because I'm done at 10
Yeah,
and I'm gonna play golf in the afternoon, but like I'm like already, I go, this is already a weird week. I go, I'm not gonna remake everything
right.
on a Monday. Never mind, it's like by the time the guy finished the electric, it's like, okay, we just got it back. So like I gotta wait a few hours. Then I gotta either go to the shitty Stop and Shop, which never has anything, which I can confirm because I went there today just to get like a couple things. I can go to Whole Foods, which I don't like doing because despite how expensive it is, I don't like what they have either.
Right.
Or I can go down 24 South where there was a fucking sinkhole this week and there's gonna be like endless traffic coming back. I'm like, none of these options are very good here.
Or you can fight even more traffic over Wegmans.
I could have went on my no, I didn't go from the golf. I went that was today. Yeah, no, fuck that. Like I'm like, I'm not doing this. This is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stupid all around, but like here we are.
So what a fantastic week.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. So like, because I've been telling everyone, I'm like, oh, my life has been a fucking disaster since the first week of April. I go, but my kicker always was, but everything's good. Like I've done a lot
Yeah,
of good things.
right, right.
Like,
Yeah, it's been chaotic and it's been a disaster, but it's not like,
yes,
oh my
but it's
God,
all,
woe is me. It's just
well, that's the
like,
thing. It's
it's
like
just been fucking crazy.
I was lucky enough to go to Augusta. I was
Right.
fortunate enough to secure a new lease for the gym so the business can fucking continue.
Yes, you can have a job.
Um, my bachelor party in Charleston, I really enjoyed that. We went to the wedding in New Jersey. Wedding was okay. Her getting to see her friends is always cool. The drive sucked, but it's fine. I mean that one's fine. It's a wedding.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
annoying for me, but ultimately still a good thing.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, and then our wedding, good, get it out of the way. Move on to Ocean Edge, no problem. Get back here, another wedding. This is the first thing that has really, really, truly fucking sucked all around.
Yeah, yeah.
So hopefully this shit gets sorted out. If this fucking, I swear to God, if that fucking breaker breaks and they go, "Oh, it's gonna be a week," I am fucking doing an open fire gas cook in the unit.
We'll have a
I'm
Dudeson's
gonna
party.
boil gas. I'll get the gas boiling, and we're gonna smoke cigars around it, ashing into the gas. And then when
uh
the insurance company goes, "What happened?" It's like, I don't know, no
I have
power.
no idea. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there was no power. Must have been a failure of some kind.
Dude, honestly, like, I mean, I'm no lawyer, right? But I feel like if if the HOA drops the ball, or the property manager, whatever, drops the ball, does not get the electrician to come back and install a new breaker, and this one does break, again, I just feel like on the surface, you'd be entitled to like not at least not have to pay your fucking HOA fee for like a month or something. You know what I mean? Like cut that in half. Like whatever it is, like you shouldn't have to pay those dumbasses if they can't do their job.
Yeah, you would think.
Right? It's like the reason why I pay you an HOA fee every month is so you handle my shit. Right? Like you didn't handle my shit and now I don't have power for a week.
Yeah.
It's like, so you're not gonna get paid. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, that's the thing too.
And
If it's
like, I don't
like
know
it
how it works. Like, I don't know if it's separate from a mortgage included. I don't know how it goes with you guys,
separate,
but
separate.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So just don't fucking pay him.
Yeah. Come get it from me.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, oh well, you can pay. Hey, I'll get on the computer right now. Well, wait, there's no
Oh wait,
fucking
that's right.
power. Actually, you know what? I'll write you a check. Oh wait, there's no fucking power. I can't see anything.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, fuck you.
yeah. That's ridiculous.
Or you just take you pay the electrician whatever it costs. Say it costs $500. Like, okay, say it's like 2 hours worth of work. I don't know, 250 a lot for an electrician. I don't even know.
I mean, who knows today? Today, who the
Actually,
fuck?
250 an hour is probably cheap when you
Yeah,
have no power to your unit
yeah,
whatsoever.
yeah,
So whatever, say it's $500. I'll just, send in like the HOA minus 500 and then attach like
yeah.
the bill
Attach the
to it.
bill.
Yep, that should cover it.
Yeah, yeah. All set. There you go. Oh man.
So
Well,
we'll
hopefully I
see.
get,
Hopefully that gets sorted out
yeah.
sooner than later. Like I said, I don't want to burn the place down, but I will if I have to.
I'll pull a Milton. Just
Yeah,
burn this fucking place down.
stapler.
Yeah. You just stole my stapler. I'm setting the place on fire. Oh, well, speaking of setting the place on fire, that's a great segue. Um, the Supreme Court has been
They've been busy, haven't they?
lighting everything on fire.
See, I was trying to like catch up on like kind of what they've been doing, but I didn't have any power, so I haven't been able to really see what's going on.
uh I'll be this helpful all the time.
Yeah, thanks. And also, like the other thing is everything I'm seeing usually starts on Twitter, and then when I like Google
Yeah,
what's going on, then it's all
yeah,
opinions and stuff. It's like I don't want your stupid motherfucking opinion.
right. So I'll run
And
through,
we've talked about that, but
yeah, I'll run through a couple of them and just like, again, just stick to the facts, right? I have them, the Roca Wave, the Roca News app that I use, like broke it down. It's quick. It's just like a couple bullet points. So I'll just run through. So the first one is the Chevron decision. So they struck down the Chevron doctrine, a landmark 1984 ruling, Chevron versus the Natural Resources Defense Council. SCOTUS ruled that if a law is ambiguous on a certain matter, federal agencies could interpret it without a judge interfering. Again, that's the 1984 ruling. That became known as the Chevron doctrine and actually expanded regulators' authority. The doctrine became important as successive presidents grew reliant on agencies to enact their agendas amid congressional deadlock. It has since been cited over 18,000 times by federal courts, making it one of the most important rulings regarding any agency's authority. Many conservatives wanted it overturned, though, arguing it gave agencies and bureaucrats too much power. On Friday, the court ruled 6-3 along ideological lines. The Chevron doctrine is, quote, fundamentally misguided. Chevron triggered a marked departure from traditional judicial approach of independently examining each statute to determine its meaning. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote for the majority, agencies have no special competence in resolving statutory ambiguities. Courts do. I love that line. Agencies have no special competence in resolving statutory ambiguities. Sorry. Jesus. It's like just because you're an agency, like, doesn't give
yeah.
you like precedent over like making decisions. Like that's the job of the court system. Um, so the dissent side, Justice Elena Kagan wrote that the decision, quote, will cause a massive shock to the legal system. Imagine that's your dissent. That's your dissenting opinion. It's going to cause a massive shock to the legal system. Okay, cool. Like tough titties, right? Like who cares? The ruling means that agencies will have less freedom to enact rules and policies than in the past. So basically, what this is similar to like what we talked about prior about the ATF, right? So like the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms decided one day bump stocks, they were going to write a regulation because they don't make laws. They draft regulations. They were going to create a regulation that you couldn't own a bump stock. And because of the Chevron doctrine, they were allowed to do that. And what the Supreme Court has said is this actually bypasses the congressional process. When a law is supposed to be made, a law is made in Congress, right? We've done the joke before, like the Schoolhouse Rock. I'm a bill, I'm a bill, I'm a bill, right? Like we know the whole deal, right? Like it starts in the House, it goes to the Senate, and then it gets signed by the president, and then the Supreme Court decides whether or not it fits the Constitution, right? Like that's how it works. It's literal, what, sixth grade social studies? And what this
It's not
Chevron
earlier.
doctrine, yeah, what this Chevron doctrine did was it created a loophole for government agencies to circumvent congressional laws, like congressionally created laws. And they just say, oh, well, I'm a federal agency that regulates this stuff. Therefore, my opinion is good enough as to be law.
So, in your opinion, why would a regular person give a flying fuck about this? Because obviously it's pissing people off somehow.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at it.
What
Because
it comes down to is money.
fuck me, how?
because
For the
now,
regular person. For the
oh, no,
regular
no, no, for
person.
regular
Yeah,
people,
regular person.
well, I mean, you could make the argument that the regular person that works for these government agencies, their jobs could be in jeopardy.
Yeah, no, but yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So,
you know what I mean? Like
because
that's
the way I see it here is like government agencies. CIA is a government agency, right?
correct.
Why the fuck should they be able to make laws? They're not Congress people.
Right.
They're not in the legislative branch. They're the fucking CIA. Same for the FBI. Same for, which, if you think about those two, yep, no sketchy past anywhere in there either. But
Yeah.
you're right. Like ATF, Postmaster General, like,
Yeah. So so I think what this originally stemmed from in 1984 was, and this is when I say this example, it should hopefully make so much fucking sense. So what this stemmed from was Chevron, the oil drilling company, right, was being required by the Natural Resource Defense Council, right? That was the original case, that they being Chevron, were required to have someone from the National Resources Defense Council on their staff to make sure that they were following and complying to the NRDC's regulations, right? So it was like, I'm your, let's use the gym, right? I'm the government and you're you, or I'm a government agency, right? As a government agency, I'm going to tell you that you need to hire one of my employees to sit in your gym every single day and make sure that you're complying with my regulations. That's basically what happened. And in 1984, then the Supreme Court was like, yeah, that works. You can do that because you're a government agency and your job is to be the governing body over this one thing. So that's cool. Whereas today's Supreme Court is like, no, 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 no. That is the job of the court system. The court system will determine whether or not you are required to bring someone in from a federal agency to be a part of your business, right? Like your private company or public company, whatever. It could be a public company. But regardless, right? Like you're going to bring it, you're being forced to do that. So in that scenario, that was again the original scenario. That's absurd, right? Like literally the
it's
NRDC told Chevron, you need to have one of our guys on all of your oil rigs just to, make sure that you're doing everything by the book.
that's retarded.
It is
Absolutely
retarded.
retarded.
Yeah. It's also the reason why OSHA was able to pass a regulation. Again, they don't make laws. They passed a regulation during COVID about employees needing to get vaccines because OSHA is the governing regulatory body over workplace safety, right? So they deemed for workplace safety, people needed to get vaccinated. So they were allowed to do that because of the original Chevron doctrine from 1984. And now the Supreme Court is like, yeah, no, fuck that. It's the court system's job to determine all that stuff, not the government agency, not OSHA, not the NRDC, not the ATF. It's the courts. The courts will decide what's necessary.
Oh yeah, dude, they're gonna overwhelm that legal system though.
So I love that. That's a big win
Yeah,
because that means it's the federal government now gets smaller, right?
I
Their
would, and I
reach
would say
diminishes.
that's the other thing is I would tend to also agree with the decision because it sounds like the agencies were kind of like overstepping their bounds. Like they were going, it sounds like they were going beyond what they should be doing.
Right.
Um, and even the original decision doesn't make any sense. Like I would even like just say it's like, listen, even if we think that an agency should be able to like even if we think that the US Post Office should require a fingerprint to send mail, like fucking something
Yeah,
stupid,
yeah,
the basis of this 1984 court document doesn't make any fucking sense.
right, right.
So for those reasons, I'm out. But yeah, so I would tend to also agree with the Supreme Court decision.
Yeah. But then now people are like, obviously, freaking out
There's
over this.
nothing
They're
to
like,
freak out about this. As
yeah,
a regular person, there is nothing to freak out about this.
yeah, nothing.
Unless like you really feel like that strongly about government should be in control of everything.
But now people are like, oh, but who's going to regulate the businesses? Well, the same governing bodies, but now
Well, no, the same
when they
people
want
that
to
do.
do something, they need to get approval through the court system, not Ned down the hall in the corner office, right?
Yeah,
Like,
who's going to regulate the businesses?
right,
State and local and federal government,
right,
as they do now.
right. Yeah. It's
But that's the
just,
other thing is don't forget, like when these agencies, like, so if it's a federal agency can't rule, but your local government has zoning and board requirements, all that stuff's still in play
yeah,
because that is the government's agencies like creating the structure and whatnot that you need. And the court doesn't disagree with those things. So it's like,
right.
oh, who's going to regulate the business? Listen, like, if a company's dumping oil in fucking Alaska, the courts aren't going to say, yeah, it's cool because the agencies can't create
Yeah,
laws. They're going to go, no, this is a fucking problem.
right, right. So, yeah, like I said, with Justice Kagan, when your only defense is it's going to cause a shock to the legal system, pound sand. I don't care, right? So that one is good. They ruled on this other one. The Supreme Court ruled that prosecutors overreached in the handling of the January 6th case. Prosecutors have charged over 1,400 people in relation to the January 6th riot. Hundreds of them were charged under a law that punishes anyone who interferes with documents needed for official processings or, quote, otherwise obstructs, influences, or impedes any official proceeding. That law was passed in 2002 after the Enron financial scandal, during which auditors destroyed trucks full of documents. So they literally destroyed evidence. Like I said, trucks full of documents they destroyed. Prosecutors repeatedly used that law to charge the J6 rioters, alleging that they obstructed the certification of the election result. One man accused under the law filed a lawsuit alleging that the law was not applicable to the J6 case. In a 6-3 decision, one that wasn't along ideological lines, which I think is important, SCOTUS ruled Friday that when the law was written, it was not intended to apply to all types of instruction. And then Chief Justice Roberts goes on to say, like, whatever, like consider a straightforward example. A zoo might post a sign that reads, "Do not pet, feed, yell, or throw objects at the animals, or otherwise disturb them." If a visitor eats lunch in front of a hungry gorilla or talks to a friend near its enclosure, has he obeyed the regulation? Surely yes. But then the smell of food or the sound of voices might disturb the gorillas. So the specific example of impermissible conduct involved direct interaction with whatever, all harassment, whatever. So he goes on to say, like, you can't just take one thing and then apply it broadly to all this stuff, right? Like, you say, don't disturb the zoo animals. There's nothing in there that says you can't eat a sandwich in front of the gorilla pen. But if you do eat a sandwich in front of the gorilla pen, the gorilla might freak out, right? Like, but you're not intentionally disturbing the gorilla. You know what I mean? And that's what they said the difference is in Enron that caused the law to be created. They destroyed trucks, multiple trucks full of documents. These people did nothing to obstruct anything. They were just there. They trespassed, right? Like that's all they did. So the decision will prompt many J6 rioters, including the 27 in jail on charges related only to this law, to seek resentencing or attempt to have their cases thrown out. It could also help Donald Trump, who faces 2 charges related to the law. On Truth Social, he called it a big win. So again, I don't really have a problem with this one, because they didn't actually obstruct anything. Like I said, if anything, they're just guilty of trespassing, right? Like they quote unquote broke into the Capitol building and trespassed.
Yeah. I got too many
Like,
follow-up questions to like have an opinion on that one.
yeah,
I don't have much. I feel like that one is way less not because the other one wasn't necessarily cut and dry either. The other one seemed very simple. This one seems awfully complicated
yeah,
because it's also a very specific event, not a idea, if you will.
right.
Um, and I have no clue. So
Yeah. And I mean, again, like I said, I've got no issues with this. Like they didn't add for the charge of obstruction, right? Like if anyone that's in jail, which I don't know if you can be thrown in jail. Well, some people are probably just for trespassing on the state capitol. Like, okay, yeah, whatever you did, you trespassed. Like you're guilty
yep,
of that 100%. But
yep.
like you're probably not guilty of obstruction because you didn't obstruct anything. So again, cool with that one. Now, my favorite one, the one that people are going the most insane about, is presidential immunity. So this is related specifically
Three
to
3 year Letterman.
Donald Trump. Yeah. So SCOTUS ruled that Donald Trump has immunity for, quote, official acts committed while president. They had formerly ruled that presidents are immune from civil liability, meaning they generally can't be sued for acts committed while in office. Trump's lawyers had argued for a broader definition of immunity, arguing that presidents need it in order to operate without fear of subsequent politically motivated prosecution, which is basically what's going on now. The Biden administration had argued that such immunity could embolden presidents to break the law. On Monday, SCOTUS ruled 6-3 along ideological lines that the president may not be prosecuted for exercising his core constitutional powers and is entitled to a presumptive immunity from prosecution for all of his official acts. Chief Justice Roberts added that the president enjoys no immunity for unofficial acts, and not everything the president does is official. So he made it pretty clear, like, for any official acts that happen as president, you cannot be prosecuted, right? Because,
Okay. So
again, to use an example, right, like the president, it doesn't take names out of it, just the president, right? The president of the United States, whomever that might be, orders a drone strike somewhere in the Middle East and they miss and they accidentally kill US citizens. The president is immune from prosecution to that act, which, by the way, that's a real thing that happened to Obama, but we don't need to get into that. So this is where things get fun. In
this is
the
where things get fucking nauseating.
in the dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote, quote, in every use of official power, the president is a king now above the law. The ruling will have disastrous consequences for the presidency and for our democracy. So they didn't put it in the Roken app, but I saw this. She wrote in as part of her dissent that if the president wanted to send SEAL Team 6 on a mission against a domestic asset, he's free from prosecution. Now, number one, that's retarded, right? That's dumb. Number two, and this ties into what I'll get into next. there's this little thing called posse comitatus, which is a fancy Latin word that means I don't know actually what it means, but what it stands for is
Speak Latin
yeah,
now.
I don't speak Latin. But what it stands for is the federal government and the military are prohibited from acting on US soil against US citizens, which is kind of why I think, right? I'm kind of grasping at straws on this part, but I think this is why whenever there's a like a some sort of catastrophe or whatever, it's the governor of the state that deploys the state national guard, right? Because federal government agencies and the military is prohibited from acting against US citizens on US soil, right? So, like the CIA cannot act on US soil. That is against posse comitatus. And that's, I don't know if you call that treason, but it's certainly against the law, right? You cannot do it. The president of the United States cannot call up SEAL Team 6 to go take out Donald Trump, right? Like, because that gets into my next thing all over Twitter, right? Everyone's like, oh, Biden should drone strike Trump, do anything that he can to not let Trump get elected. Oh, why Biden should call SEAL Team 6 to Mar-a-Lago to assassinate Trump, which, first of all, these are the people standing out there saying that
You
like
people need fucking help.
that Republicans are a threat to democracy, right? Like, let's
Yeah.
not let the Republicans skate though. Like, right, like they're still cunts because they're politicians. But like in this scenario, you have all of these people, these leftists that are like, oh, drone strike, Biden should drone strike Trump. Oh, if that's how they're going to rule, he should send SEAL Team 6 to assassinate Trump. But then 40 minutes later, you're going to say that Trump is the threat to democracy. You're literally calling for the sitting president to assassinate his political rival right now. Like, that's the threat to democracy. Like, how fucking stupid can you be? That aside, like I said, posse comitatus prevents all of that from being possible. So you have a sitting, acting Supreme Court justice that, in her dissenting opinion, mentioned that the president could use SEAL Team 6 against someone in the United States, and she is unaware of posse comitatus. She's a fucking moron.
Well, so truth be told, she's actually probably smarter than we think because she's just gonna pull the appeal to the side that she's like on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So everyone's probably sitting there like, what a dumbass. This lady doesn't even know what she's talking about. She's probably smarter than we all think. But and the only reason I say that is because the Supreme Court justices, I give them that benefit of the doubt. Like, I think she knows what she's doing.
I would hope
Like,
so. Yeah.
if
And
you
I mean,
if
I
you
am
got to
on
that
record saying the Supreme Court is my favorite branch of the government. So,
right, and that's the thing is like it's only 9 of them,
right.
and you're in there basically until you die.
Yeah.
Like, there's hundreds and hundreds of politicians, and they revolve. Like,
Right.
you can get a bad one for 2 years, and then they're on their way.
Right. Or you get a bad one that's in there for 45 years.
That happens too. Um, yeah, so I'm guessing that because it's such an extreme example too. Because like
Yeah.
because that would be my thing. So okay, all right, lady. So throw your fucking robe on, go to your chambers, and I'm gonna present to you a case. And the case is, was Spiro Agnew fucking Abe Lincoln's
No,
vice
Spiro
president?
Agnew was the vice president for Richard Nixon.
Ah, shit. All right, so Abe Lincoln. Who took over for Abe Lincoln?
Johnson, Andrew Johnson.
Fuck. Oh shit, this might actually make sense then. Like, okay, here's the case. So we were checking the archives, we found it, and Andrew Johnson actually orchestrated the murder of Abe Lincoln. He was the vice president, he wanted Lincoln out, didn't like what he was doing. He orchestrated it. Legal or illegal? You tell me. Like, should Andrew Johnson be prosecuted for orchestrating the murder of the sitting president?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Because that is an unofficial action.
Right.
It breaks all the rules of, and maybe I said it backwards. Maybe it should have been the other way around. Whatever. It breaks all the rules of, bloodshed on. And the guy was a federal agent too, the assassin. Um, it breaks all the rules of acting on U.S. soil and all that crap. You tell me, legal or illegal? Well, I mean, like you'd have to be brain dead to tell me that that's legal.
Right.
That's okay. That's all right. And then and if I said why, and you cannot say Trump or Biden in your response to why,
Yeah.
they wouldn't be able to do it.
Right. Right.
And that's what I mean. It's like, to use that example, it's like you're just pulling to your side so everyone thinks like you did the right thing.
Right.
Like
Yeah, that's
that's
all
it.
you're
You
doing.
probably knew it was going to pass 6-3 anyway, so you go, yeah, let me look good for this one.
Right.
Because
Right.
what's 6-3 or 7-2?
Exactly.
Um, so yeah, I have seen a lot of that, and that shit pisses me off because it's like in official business, in official acts, it gives the president immunity, which I believe I agree with. If,
Yeah, for
like
again,
you
for
said,
official acts.
we'll pick Martin Van Buren.
To
Martin Van
use
Buren was president, and he
or
can.
I was going to say to use a more closely associated example, say Ted Kennedy actually did become president. Um being part of the cover up of a murder of a young woman in Chappaquiddick, Martha's Vineyard, doesn't count as an official act of the
Correct.
presidency. So that you are not considered immune from.
I was gonna say we're going back, and Martin Van Buren okays a musket strike on a political competitor. Like, I'm sorry, no, that's the opposite of what I'm trying to say. I lost my train of thought. Martin Van Buren puts a musket strike on invading British soldiers, and in the warfare, someone, unfortunately, an American, is killed
Right.
via musket. He should not be responsible for that murder because it was an official act as president against a invading country.
Right.
Does it suck that the person died? Sure does.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can't charge the president with that.
Right.
You'll be charging the president every 4 seconds. You want to
And
talk
what
about overloading the court system?
yeah, yeah. And again, why this is important, again, because we talked about this in a previous episode. I had said this, and I said in the example of the guy that I work with, right, that I talked about, but I was like, listen, man, like, regardless of how you feel or I feel, like, this is dangerous because this sets a dangerous precedent that any president that gets out of office can then be turned around and prosecuted by his political opponent, assuming that the succeeding president is of the different party, right? Like, and it could work both ways, right? Like, if Trump does win in the fall, there's nothing that would have prevented him in March, January, February, whenever, of turning around and then prosecuting Biden for a bunch of crimes,
Or even like, let's just even
right?
go
Like
with like
this
logic
ruling like
101.
squashes all of that. You cannot be prosecuted for an official act.
Log
Now,
logic 101, right?
yeah,
So if according to the Democrats and whatnot, oh, well, why doesn't Biden just send SEAL Team 6 to kill Trump? Okay. Uh SEAL Team 6 shows up. Trump ain't there. They got bad info. Now, this is also like the
bad
fucking beginning of
intel.
some action movie. Trump ain't there. So Trump lives, but that's okay, right? That was okay according to the Democrats.
Yeah, yeah,
So what if in 6 months Trump does win the election and is president again, and he does it to kill Joe Biden. Is that okay? Because
No, that's
remember,
bad because that's on
no,
my
no,
team.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
logic 101 would dictate you're
Right.
fucking stupid.
Right. Yeah. So then the other thing, that's what I sent to our Twitter group, was a literal sitting representative in Congress from California, Zoe Lofgren, said President Biden, acting within the scope of his official duties, this is a direct quote, by the way, could dispatch the military to take out the conservative justices on the court. So this dumb bitch, Representative Zoe Lofgren from California, has said that since they ruled that presidents have immunity, Biden can just dispatch the military to take out all the conservative judges on the court. Once again, incorrect. It's like,
So admittedly, I didn't pay enough attention in history classes either. These people did not pay attention in fucking history classes at all. Because this is the type of shit you're talking about that happens when you either have a country that just crumbles or a dictator leads up, they see some level of success, and then they get buried.
yeah,
It's like that's all it is.
yeah. And then, so just a couple tweets real quick from on Twitter from dumbasses that are on the left. So if Joe Biden declared today that November's election is canceled and ordered the military to keep him in power, would that be an official act? No, dumbass.
No,
That would be a coup.
no, that wouldn't.
That would
That would
actually
not
be
be an.
considered a coup. Whenever a military leader takes, I'm sorry, whenever, well, technically, yeah, he is technically the president is the leader of the military, the
Commander in
commander in
chief.
chief. So whenever someone in the military uses the military to obtain their presidential power or leadership power, that is called a coup. That is not called an official act. You
Yeah, I'm
dumb fuck.
fairly certain that's unofficial.
Yeah. The next one. I strongly encourage Joe Biden to take advantage of his absolute immunity, which he has been lawfully granted by Trump's Supreme Court justices, to do whatever, quote, official acts he needs to do in order to prevent Donald Trump from becoming president. Once again, incorrect.
I also heard an interesting word in there. I heard absolute immunity. I
Yeah.
didn't. So when you read the summary from the Supreme Court, I didn't hear absolute immunity.
No, I didn't either,
It was
actually. And I
actually
read those
quite
words.
conditional.
Yeah, it's
It's
conditional immunity.
it's quite conditional.
Only official acts, which is funny because he put the words official acts, but prior in his statement, he said absolute immunity. So you're a dumbass.
Congratulations, you're stupid too.
Yeah. The next one, we got the Supreme Court just gave Biden unequivocal immunity to order the military to take action against Trump today, right now. Once
Nope.
again,
No, we didn't.
incorrect. Did not. There's no unequivocal immunity. There's no using the military against your political opponents. Again, that's treason. That's going against posse comitatus.
Hey, that might even be high treason.
Yeah, yeah. So then this last one is a headline from somewhere. I don't know why, it doesn't say what it is, but it's an opinion from an editorial that says, to serve his country, President Biden should drone strike Donald Trump. Once again, incorrect. Like, that's
You
not
would
how any
need
of this works.
so you would need a psychological expert. There's got to be something weird here with the drone strike thing. Because if some people on the right have blamed Obama for that,
Yeah,
there's got to be like, no, it's not buyer's remorse or fucking some type of guilt. Like, there's got to be something in there that's making these people bring up drone strikes. Like, why would you
yeah,
like, is there a more obvious way to do it? Like, wouldn't you
yeah,
want
yeah,
like if you're gonna try to kill the president, wouldn't you want some fucking like dude wearing a suit and a silencer? Like,
yeah.
why the fuck would you want a drone strike? All
Or
that shit's fucking
poison, right? Make it look like a heart attack.
the wire.
Yeah.
I'm turning this into a James
The
Bond
what is
movie.
that?
That's all I'm
Garrote?
doing.
Is that called a garrote?
I forget. Like these people.
Yeah. But this is the thing, right? It's like these people lose their mind. Like the left loses their mind. It's like one little thing that happens and they immediately just fucking explode in the other direction. And it's like, I don't know if you actually read what's going on, right? You could just sit there and be like, I'm not quite sure you fully grasp the situation that's
Well,
going on,
there,
right?
so you,
Like,
both sides, like again, the ones that are the loudest are the minority, but they're the ones you hear.
right.
And there's a vast difference in the lack of critical thinking on both sides. So the right generally is presented with a topic and they just go with stubborn, unopen answer like no, or like,
Yeah.
what do you think about this? No.
Yeah.
Nope, we don't do that here. Nope. I'm a Christian. I don't do that.
Right.
Like,
Right.
it's like, well, did you think about it? Nope. As a Christian, that's not me.
I feel like, and I'm sure there's examples where this doesn't apply, right? But I feel like generally the right gets pissed off about dumb shit, right? Like
Well, no, they both get pissed off.
abortion. Well, no. Like I'm sorry, like dumb shit that like is meaningless. You know what I mean? Like
Uh,
abortion, like who cares if people want to have abortions, right? Like,
yeah, they
yeah,
do.
I think we all agree that like you shouldn't get an abortion at 9 months, right? But like to
Correct.
say that no one should be allowed to ever have an abortion is ridiculous. Like
Yeah, or
that's
you get
let's
6 weeks.
yeah,
Like,
like that's fucking stupid.
it's
All
fucking
right. Like
crazy.
don't be a dumbass. Right.
Yeah,
Or
like, and
like,
that, there you go. So that's a lack of critical thinking. Like, it's like, well, we don't want abortions at 8 months. Like, we didn't fucking say 8 months, man.
right,
Like, I don't know what
right,
the correct protocol is. Like, someone who fucking knows, I don't know if like 16 weeks. I don't know if that's like a good number. I don't know. I'm
right.
making that up.
But like
Because I
again,
think
so
you usually know at 12.
yeah, no, for sure. You know at
So
12.
like, is another month? Like, I think that's okay. Like, you get a month to kind of figure it out.
Yeah, I think the generally accepted timeline is 16 weeks.
Okay, and like, I'm good with that. Like,
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I think you know what, and there's probably a number that goes a little further too. Like, you could probably convince me of 20,
Yeah,
but I mean, dude, like, you're never gonna convince me of 7, 8, 9 months.
no, no.
But
And
you're
I mean,
also never
I've,
gonna you're never gonna convince me of 7, 8, 9 weeks either.
yeah, I mean, I've said it before too. Like when it comes to that specifically, like you gotta you gotta look at both sides. Like, yeah, if you really want to get an abortion, you should be able to get an abortion up to whatever, 16 weeks, 20 weeks, whatever. Who gives a shit?
And
Whatever
then
the
there
number
are gonna
is.
be some there are
But
gonna
on
be
the other
some medical.
side, you need to also understand what's happening, right? Like you're ending a life. Like I'm okay with people getting abortions. Like that's fine. Like again, I don't really give a shit. It's your body, it's your life. You do whatever the fuck you want to do. But you can't act like you're not ending a life, right? Because you are. Like it's
Right.
true.
And then there's got to be some medical things worked in there too, because it'd be too short-sighted just to say like
For
every
sure. Yeah,
abortion
yeah,
is just
yeah.
like, "Ah, I don't want the kid." No, like, there's
Right.
got to be some medical things, and yeah,
Yeah.
that will stretch the rules. But
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 like
yeah, then, but
so
then but then people on the right are just like, yeah, no, none at all. Be more responsible.
yeah. Like so
It's like,
some of the other shit for as much shit as we've talked on this show about like the transgender stuff and all that whatever like at the end of the day that's meaningless, right? So like the point
yeah,
I'm
it kind
trying
of
to make
is.
is like the people on the right get all riled up about like meaningless shit like
Weed.
weed again, the transgender thing meaningless, right? The people on the left get riled up about some crazy shit and like call for violence. Like they're literally calling for political
So,
assassinations and military coups. Like
and
people on the
that's
right
that's
aren't doing
where
that. You know what I
the
mean? So
critical
like
thinking the critical thinking is tough because you got the one side, they just like stick to the way, oh, this is what we've always done, or
right.
this is
It's like
what
both are dumb,
Jesus told me.
but one is
But the
dangerous.
left,
Right? Like both are equally dumb, but one is dangerous.
yeah, like one side's just kind of fucking rude, and the other side is fucking nuts.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, because that's the other thing is the critical thinking is It's like, oh, well, the president has immunity. Oh my God, we're just gonna have drone strikes everywhere. Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
Yeah. Exactly.
4 days ago, if Biden ordered a drone strike in the Middle East and unfortunately a couple Americans died, he wasn't getting charged.
Right.
Nothing changed with fucking assassinations. The only thing that
Right.
changed is a clarification in a ruling or whatever.
Yeah. So there's a few more, but like I didn't really read them all. But like I said at the beginning, the Supreme Court has been burning shit down, and I am all for it. I love it. I love it because at the end of the day, again, it's it's pissing people off with which I just enjoy. But also it's effectively making the federal government smaller, right?
Yeah,
With
and here you go. If you don't like what they ruled, blow up your politician.
yeah,
Not literally.
well,
That's
that's
not an
not an
official
official
act.
act that's covered by your unequivocal absolute immunity.
But that's the thing. Like, if you feel strongly enough about it, tell them to fucking introduce legislature. Tell them to do their fucking job. That's what they're
Yeah.
supposed to be doing.
And that's effectively all the Supreme Court has done for the last like 6 years. This might be some of like the best Supreme Court we've ever had, because the last 6 years has basically been all of the justices being like, nope, do your fucking job. Nope, that's not your job. This is your job. Nope, you can't do that because that's not your job. Stick to your job. If you want to do
Yeah.
something, do your job. Make a law, right? I'm a bill, I'm a bill, I'm a bill. Like we get it. Like we know how it
Yep.
goes. Like that's if you want if you want change, that's how you create the change. That's how you create laws. You don't call on the ATF to use some Chevron doctrine from 1984 to make a regulation that counts as a law. No, fuck that. If you want to make something happen, make the law. Get it passed. That's your job. Again, 100%. I love the Supreme Court. It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, like, no one else is going to hold these people accountable. The Supreme Court is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then the
That's their
Supreme
job.
Court told, well, the
That's
Supreme
quite
Court's holding
literally
these,
their job.
but that's the problem, though. The Supreme Court's holding these people accountable, and then the citizens aren't.
Right.
So we're back
Right.
to just
Well, Supreme Court equals bad.
right now.
Yeah, Biden needs to assassinate all the conservative judges on the Supreme Court.
That's a take. That is
Yeah.
seriously a fucking
Yeah.
take.
From a sitting congresswoman.
From
Said
a
that on
sitting,
live
hey,
TV.
from a sitting fucking retard.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't matter sitting, standing, you're fucking retarded.
Yeah, you are a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Yeah. On live TV.
Yeah, where people could hear you.
Yeah. Fucking stupid. Like that. Listen, if they wanted to get nuts, that could be potential treason. Right? Like
Yeah, I mean,
you're calling for the death of a federal official.
I'd have to look at like
I don't know, because it
truly
could be
actually
hearsay, right?
it
Again, I'm
might
not a lawyer. I
yeah,
don't know. But if there's anyone if there's anyone that you wouldn't want to fuck with from a legal perspective, it's probably
right
the
now.
Supreme Court.
Right, not right now. They're hot. The Supreme Court is fucking cooking right now.
Yeah. Like, oh, what did you say, bitch? Oh,
Yeah.
you're done.
Well, that's funny. We have a precedent for that.
Yeah. Oh, actually, hold on. Let me see. We're gonna repeal the no more drawn and quartering. You're allowed to be drawn and quartered for one day in California. Oh, look, this one woman that said we
Wow,
should all
look at
be dead.
that.
You're gonna be drawn and quartered. Sorry. Oh man.
And all this when I had no power.
Yeah, you couldn't follow any of these stories because you didn't have power.
Right, that's why I didn't follow.
Yeah.
Of course. I would have been right on the pulse.
uh well, with all that said, you want to wrap this up?
We can wrap this up. I have a new pet peeve. It is the quote unquote I need person. So it drives me fucking crazy when people act like assholes in public, right? And same
Yeah,
with you. Like, it could be whatever. It could be shopping cart. Could be whatever.
right. Like it
So,
doesn't take a lot of effort to not be an asshole.
right. Just don't be an asshole. Well, my thing too. When you go to a bar or a restaurant, and if you're going to go to the bar and order a drink, my pet peeve is starting that sentence with, I need. No, sir. You don't need anything right now. Could I have? May I please?
Yeah.
Do you have?
Can I
Not
get even like if
yeah,
you wanted
even
to be,
could
yeah,
yeah,
can
could
I
I
get?
have? Can I get?
Yeah.
I need.
Yeah.
You can go fuck yourself. You don't need 5 Bud Lights and a gin and tonic.
Right.
Would I be able to order? Can I get? Would you
Yeah.
be able to throw five? Anything.
Yeah.
Just anything.
Yeah.
And then, so like, this can happen. It must have happened at Ocean Edge. Like it's such a bad displays of fucking humanity there. Like, and I only say there because it's a resort, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just such bad displays of fucking humanity. Like, I assume these people get paid okay because they have to do it, or else they just wouldn't. Like these people, like I'm serious. These people would not work there if the pay wasn't good.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but like even at like the golf course, oh, I need this. And then you fucking wonder why like you can't have good staff.
Yeah.
Well, you treat them like worse than fucking animals, and all you do is you bitch at them. You don't give them a chance to like do what they need to do, and then eventually they'll just be like, fuck this. Like I'm good.
Yeah.
And it's like you wonder why at like a nice place you might have like a career bartender. Like that
Right.
dude's been working there for 40 years and his son will be taking over for him.
Yeah.
Like, well, how does he work every day? Because they're closed on Mondays. He gets one fucking day off. And he comes in late on Tuesdays, whatever.
Yeah.
Like the fucking I need people, you need to rot in hell. That's what it really comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's just so annoying. So annoying. And it's like it's such a nothing thing, but it's just like you could just change 2 words and then you don't sound like a pretentious asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I need this.
Yeah. Oh,
I
I
need
need four
six
Bud
Bud
Lights.
Lights.
The fuck do you need for? Like, you don't fucking
Yeah.
need shit.
Yeah. Hey man, do you guys do buckets? Oh, can I just grab a bucket? Right. Oh
Anything.
no,
Like,
you don't. Okay, I'll just do
hey,
five Bud Lights then.
could
No
could you
big
throw
deal.
4 Bud Lights in a bag?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Can I have this? Do you
Right.
have that?
Right.
Or hey, do you have Bud Light in a bottle back there? No, just a can. All
Yeah.
right, can I do 4?
Right.
God damn.
Yeah. People fucking suck.
It's not that fucking hard. Just
No.
fucking take care of people.
No. Especially the
See, too,
people whose job is like to take care of you, right? Like in the service
that's what
industry.
they're doing. Especially like no one needs to be at a bar. No one needs to
Right.
go out to eat. Do you need groceries? Yes. Do you
Right.
need clothes and shelter? Yes.
Yeah.
You don't need to be at a bar. You don't need for that guy to serve you whatever fucking
Right.
you want. You can go fucking make it yourself. You can go buy your own shit.
Right.
But you're choosing to have someone serve you, wait on you,
Right.
and then you got to be like that. Stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Just an asshole move. Um, so my final thought, actually kind of similar to that. So I'll get to my real final thought, but I actually had a similar scenario to you when you were at the gym. I'm sorry, when you were at the golf course a couple weeks ago. You had the young bartender that was talking to like the old guys.
Oh yeah, the olds.
So while we went to a restaurant and we sat at a table that was right next to the bar, and we went for lunch right to this place in Harwich one day, and so it's kind of dead, right? There was one guy at the bar, older guy, white hair, whatever. So he had to be at least in his 50s, 60s, who knows, right? So I catch like just a little bit of their conversation, and the guy goes, "Oh, you know, are you in school or whatever?" And the it's a young girl bartender, and she's
Oh
like,
God, here we go.
no, no, I'm not really. School's not really for me. And he was like, "Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean school's not for you?
The
What do you?"
same. Honestly, it's probably the same fucking guy.
He was like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you just going to work here forever? And she was like, no, I'm here for the summer. Like, I just wanted like to experience down here for the summer. She's like, honestly, I don't really know what I want to do. And I didn't want to spend $25,000 for a year to not really know what I want to do. And she was like, maybe if I figure out what I want to do, then I'll go to school. But like, I just don't have it in the cards right now because I don't want to waste money. And the guy was like, "Oh, well, I mean, eventually you'll figure out what you want to do, and then you should go to college." And it was just like one of those where it was like, dude, shut the fuck up and leave this poor girl alone. Like, eventually she just like walked away and like started making drinks for like the people that were there sitting at tables. But like, just that little bit of the conversation that I caught, I was like, dude, it's there everywhere. It's these old fucking white dudes that sit around being like, oh, and it's always the young girl, right? The young,
Yeah,
attractive
it is.
bartender. Oh, what do you do? Oh, are you in school? Where do you go to school? You're not in school. What do you mean you're not in school? What are you going to do? How are you going to get anywhere in life? Listen, pal, this isn't fucking 1972. There's plenty of ways to make a living that don't involve college. Like,
Never mind. I'll tell you right now. Fucking high demand for fucking electrician around here. So
yeah,
hope
yeah.
you if you like the trades, there's that too.
So my actual final thought is being on the Cape last week on vacation and just kind of like bouncing around. We made the decision that we weren't going to eat out every meal because that would be ridiculously expensive. So we did buy some stuff to like eat at the cottage. Um, and so, but we like sporadically we were like, oh, let's make breakfast today, we'll go out to lunch, and then we'll like make dinner tonight. Or it was like, oh, let's go out for breakfast, we'll make lunch at home, and then we'll go out to dinner. You know what I mean? Like, you just kind of figure it out, so you're not eating 3 meals out because that shit gets real expensive really fast. So we
Plus,
went out.
how many fucking sides of fries can you
Yeah,
really eat in a week?
exactly. Yeah. So we went out. We still ended up going out quite a few times, right? But so from Monday to Friday, right? Because the previous Thursday, Friday was the wedding, right? And Saturday, Sundays, the weekend, we're hanging out, doing whatever. So like from the balance of the vacation from the Monday to the following Friday, like we're bouncing around, we do some touristy things here and there, we go shopping, we do all this stuff. I've come to the conclusion that during the week in the summer on Cape, you are either a 20s 30s year old with very young children that are like sub 5 years old, or you are 70 plus years old caring for your grandkids, which at that point could be anywhere from infant to like 12. There's nobody in between. The entire Cape from Monday to Friday, anytime we went out, whether we went to the store or we went to a restaurant, a breakfast place, a dinner place, a lunch place, the only people that were there were people that had like sub 5 year old children, or you were old, you were a grandparent, and you had your grandkids with you. That was it.
Also sub five.
Yes, all yeah, which again could be anywhere from like infant to like 12, right? There was a couple grandparents we saw with like maybe 9, 10 year olds, but like that's it. That's the only thing that exists on the Cape in the summertime. It's just people with kids of various ages and old people. Like, it's all old people and kids with the
Yeah.
sporadic like young parents sprinkled in.
Well, even remember, dude, even like all of the guys' weekends, because obviously we would have been like in that younger crowd, but not with children. There was only like a handful of places we could like really go that made sense.
Yeah. But I mean, when we were doing our guys' weekends, that was a Thursday to Sunday deal. So like that's the
Oh,
weekend,
that's also true.
right?
Well, I was gonna say because the other problem is like anyone in that mid range where they have like 10, 12, 14 year olds, they just have like too much shit going on. And
Yeah.
that's like
They could,
that's another topic that I don't want to get into, but like yeah, I mean they just got too much shit going on. So it's like during the week, you maybe get 1 week
yeah.
to go down and fuck off. Like
Yeah.
you really don't get all this time. Plus, never mind, most people, I mean, 30s should still apply, but I was gonna say like anyone like kind of a little bit older, like before retirement, generally should still have to work a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it makes sense. And then I think some parts of the Cape might be a little more residential than others. So it's like it sounds like a lot of the families go to Falmouth. So I don't know if Falmouth's a little different
Yeah.
than like Mid Cape.
Yeah.
I don't know if like Chatham would be a little bit different than Mid Cape, even though it's only one town over.
Yeah. I mean, like it
But
was just funny because there was no like group of like 20 somethings like just hanging out like at the bar or getting dinner or lunch or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
well,
there was
they're not gonna waste their time during the week
right,
because like
exactly.
guys trips or anything like that, they're weekend trips,
Right. And that's what I
bachelorettes,
mean.
guys
Like it's
weekends. Yeah,
summertime on Cape is literally like families or grandparents and young kids. Like that's it. There's nothing else. Which was like kind of funny because every time we went anywhere with the baby, like there were other people with
yeah,
babies
doing the
or
same
small
thing.
kids. So it was like it was kind of nice. Like Amy made the comment to be like, it's nice to not be the only people in a restaurant with a baby, right? Because like sometimes they yell or like they throw shit, right? And it's like we're not the only people. Literally everyone
Right.
else here has young kids. So like no one gives a shit. It was like it was just kind of cool to like be like, yeah, no one really gives a shit that like because like our kid would, you know, throw something on the floor or just like yell really quick. But then there was like a 3 year old on the other side of the restaurant throwing a temper tantrum. So we were like,
Yeah,
oh, he looks fucking
it's like
incredible compared
it's
to
like
that.
dogs barking at each other.
Yeah. 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 Basically. So yeah, that was my observation from my week on the Cape. So that's gonna do it for us here. So thanks for watching. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to click subscribe up above, hit the thumbs up down below. Subscribe if you're an audio only guy as well. You can give us 5 stars on Spotify and iTunes. That'd be much appreciated. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. Twitter is Sarcasm underscore speaks. Facebook is Sarcasm Speaks. The website is sarcasmspeaks.com. Check out all of the sponsors in the show notes below for your discount codes and links and all kinds of fun stuff there. So support those guys, support us. And until next time, good night, everybody.